raw reality of early-stage founder life. Entrepreneurship on the internet often looks like this. The reality looks quite different. In this video, I documented 6 weeks of building my AI startup. Unfiltered, the wins, the chaos, and the doubt that never really goes away. Because if you're building something too, you should know what you're getting yourself into.
1 failed, 3 failed.
In case you're new here, my name is Leon. I'm building Public, an AI agent that helps other founders build and grow their personal brand as a powerful distribution channel. And here on YouTube, I'm documenting my whole startup journey from zero. Last episode was all about startup financials, how to fund your startup, how to sell. And now we're back to building. This is going to be a fun one because a lot of stuff has happened these past few weeks. And I think this episode captures the chaos of everyday founder life quite well. So bear yourself and let's kick things off with a little side quest. I got invited to a conference in Copenhagen to hold a keynote about the state of the European tech ecosystem. That may sound a little bit random, and it is, but it's also not completely unrelated because when I came back at the beginning of the year, I was more appreciative of Europe and I started diving deeper into the state of the tech ecosystem because there was a time where there was a lot of pessimism and people basically said Europe is already over and if you want to build a company, you have to go to the US. So I started looking at the data, talking to people. I made a few posts about it. It went viral. That's also how the conference contacted me and invited me. Again, the power of personal branding. And yeah, I was following a few initiatives and I would say got a pretty comprehensive picture of what's actually the status quo and what needs to be done to fix this. So this is what I'm going to talk about. I usually try to say no to those side quests and only focus on the core element, which is for me content and business. But from time to time, I think it makes sense to just expand your horizon, do different things. And this is a great example where I think I can learn a lot. And holding a keynote at the main stage of a big conference is definitely a cool experience that will help me grow and learn. So I said yes, and I'm looking forward to it. But that also means I need to grind for the next 30 hours because I don't have anything yet. The slides are empty. So I have 30 hours to come up with a presentation and then fly to Copenhagen. Wish me luck.
It's a bigger operation. What's with all the speculation? Had to close the store for renovations. My cousin said storms, man, they're running out of patience, you know. Time to make a statement. Time to free my mind and limitations. Finesse the majors, that's my form of reparations. They said you can't slide, you're a treasure to the nation, but what they gonna do, what they gonna say? Storms got that sauce, that's that bolognese. Talking about the bread like it correlates. I see you looking bothered with your bothered face.
Telling it like it is, please give all your afternoon energy for Leon Sandner.
Let's start things off. Show of hands. Who of you is living in Europe? That's what I expected. I'm also living in Europe, and I just want to make you aware how privileged we all are. Because Europe is a great place to live in. But what is needed in order to keep it that way? What's needed is economic growth, a thriving economy. And if you look at the news headlines from recent years, it seems more and more like Europe is on one big decline. We're facing a slow and agonizing death, at least according to Mario Draghi. And he's saying that we have reached a point that without critical, fast action, we won't be able to keep our high standard of living. Is that really true? Because walking through Copenhagen, it still seems like a very prosperous, beautiful city. We have great conferences like Future Product Days. I feel safe. What is actually the status with Europe? Are we on a decline? This is what we're going to investigate in this talk.
Leon Sandner, everyone. Thanks very much, Leon.
This is clean. This is clean.
Okay, back in Berlin. Time to log in again.
I said, this is what I mean. All my niggas got it, we unanimous. Cut from different cloth and different calibers. My skeleton is matching with my managers. She love me 'cause I'm handsome and I'm talented. Hanging off the banisters.
Here's a quick recap what happened these past few weeks. We actually managed to scale our productized service to over 10K MRR. So that's another milestone. But again, this is not fully scalable revenue. This is still with us, or especially me, in the loop. And it's great for learning, and it's great additional validation to have this revenue increase. And we deliberately selected the people we take, with the main criteria being how much can we learn from them, how different are they still within our ICP scope. So that's pretty nice. But in the background, we did everything we can to build out the fully automated product. And a great way to kick things off with building new things are hackathons. And it actually started at the Big Berlin AI Hackathon, where I wanted to experiment with the WhatsApp interface. So on this hackathon, as a starting project, we built a WhatsApp coach that helps other hackathon teams come up with their pitch and storyline. So we already shipped it also on this hackathon to the first users and learned a lot. One sentence. How was your experience?
Well, pretty nice. I mean, the third application worked and said exactly what I wanted to say. So let's use it for a pitch later. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Built the whole thing with N8N, so that was also a pretty interesting experience. And yeah, then afterwards it was just all about building, and I'm talking in plural, we, because I'm not alone anymore. I actually have Hai joining me in building this. That's a whole another story in itself, and I think I'm gonna make a dedicated video about the whole co-founder thing in a few weeks. But for now, this is Hai, pretty cool guy. And since working together, we accelerated a lot, and it's just a lot more fun to work together on this project than alone. So yeah, here's what we built. We're going to demo the whole onboarding flow, from zero idea how to do your funnel marketing to working out the positioning and personal brand strategy and creating the first post with Amin as our user. Okay. Now we gather all the information that we can find about him in the background, while Amin can give like a quick input on the basics of how he wants his content to sound like.
Hey Amin, welcome to Public. I see you're an engineer turned founder, currently leading engineering at Third Web and based in Berlin. That's quite a journey. I'm curious, what's the main thing you're hoping to achieve by building your personal brand on LinkedIn? Thank you for sharing. I'll use this information to personalize your experience.
So what you're going to see now is your public persona. So what we found is the sweet spot between being too concise in defining your personal brand and too in-depth. So we defined the 9 main pillars. Sweet. You can make a few changes if you feel like it. Most people are already quite happy with the initial generation, and then already get started with creating a post.
Okay. Who you serve. Everything is spot on. If I want to do this myself, it will be very long, and I don't know where to start from actually. So I'm feeling good about this.
And now you already have 5 post ideas laid out for you.
I will start with product launch.
All right. Check your WhatsApp. Public texted you, roasted you for not posting regularly enough. Now ask very precise questions to help you dig a little deeper in the content topic you selected to really nail this post, because a good post comes from good input and unique human thoughts. So we try to make it as easy as possible to extract those thoughts and ideas in your head and package them into content that works.
Okay.
Now the copywriting agents wrote you the post draft, and to give even a little bit more human taste into it, you can click the link and you can just highlight the parts you like the most, just like an exam corrector at school.
Nice.
And then based on those parts, we craft the killer master post. Suffering from success. The first post draft is already so good that he highlighted everything. That's what happens when you put a lot of work in good copywriting.
The master post.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a masterpiece. I never felt so excited about a post.
Here you have the master post in the editor. If you swipe to the right, you see exactly how it looks like on LinkedIn. So you can already imagine it and see, okay, is that actually catchy? Does that work on the feed?
Nice.
You can click more, just like how it would be on LinkedIn. We went from zero clue about how to go about funnel-led marketing to having a ready-to-post launch post.
Yes.
And the
I want to post it now.
Yeah, let's get it.
Can I post it?
For sure, for sure.
Where's the post button? Oh, yeah.
Sign that you haven't posted enough.
Yeah. Done.
First post, let's go.
Yes, sir. Amazing.
Look at my history. I'm trying to see what's different from that guy in the richer me. The only thing I see is custom miles from Tiffany and some gunners that'll hit you out of nowhere like epiphany. Really, that's it to me. Aside from the obvious, man, the changes in scenery. Testing me, gon' have my niggas testing machinery. They say that they happy, my man, that's not how they seem to be. The boy, he wild and peaceful, rest in peace, Tina Marie. Ethics and values, mob traditions.
Okay, I just got home and I saw that Google DeepMind uploaded their latest documentary about AlphaFold on YouTube. So it's freely available. Just got released and I'm really hyped for it. Maybe you've heard about the AlphaGo documentary from a couple of years ago. I think that's probably so far the best documentary on AI out there. They basically documented the whole process, how Google DeepMind built the AI that beat the best players in Go, which is a very complex game, much more complex than chess. And it's really well made. And I watched it a couple of years ago and that was probably the starting point for my excitement in AI. And now they just released kind of a sequel to it. And let me show you a really cool feature of this apartment. Alexa, Kino-Modus. Nice. Okay, it was a pretty good documentary. Demis, the founder of DeepMind, is just such a crazy guy, and it was cool to see how well they documented these last 10 years of breakthroughs. So for anyone interested in the more recent history of AI, I can highly recommend you this documentary. And I can also recommend you this book. This is what I'm currently reading in the night. And it's about Jensen Huang, the founder of NVIDIA, and his journey, the journey of the company in the context of the grand scheme of things. So they basically describe the past 30, 40 years of AI development, how we got here. And it's a very interesting read. So if you want to dive a little bit deeper, I can also recommend you this book. Yeah, little content X-course for you. I just feel that right now we're at such a crazy point in time where actually the trajectory of humanity gets rewritten. And what are the odds that we are the ones experiencing this life and being able to shape it? So I just find it very interesting to not only build actively in that space, but also learn more about the macro picture, about the history behind the main players involved, how we got here, and think more about the trajectory of where this might actually lead to. So recommendation, go watch the documentary if you're interested in diving deeper. And I'm gonna read a bit and then go to sleep. Okay, sir, we have 1 week to get in Berlin left. What are we doing right now? What is our mission?
Our mission is to make the product look and feel absolutely insane. We have to get the onboarding right so that people feel like, we take them by the hand. No, we carry them like a very strong man with a big-ass mustache. We carry them through the onboarding and they feel like they are walking on clouds. And after the onboarding, they just feel ready to produce founder content, to share their story. That's what we're going to do.
Let's go!
Okay, quick reality check. I just had the first onboarding with our new onboarding flow and nothing was working. Everything was breaking. Like in the middle of the onboarding call, I was calling hi to rerun the scraping in the background. And like then also afterwards, the stuff was breaking left and right. But I think I managed to kind of save it and just make a strategy Q&A session out of it. And we have another call on Thursday anyways, so we will fix everything by then. Okay, I just had an onboarding call. It went really well. All the issues that we had were fixed. Everything went smoothly. And then in the final moment where it was about showing the generated strategy, it was crashing. And I just saw this. And turns out there's actually a Cloudflare issue, of course. What else could it be? That happened like exactly during the call. again, I managed to navigate around it, and it was still a valuable call and valuable time, and the client was happy. But man, that's how PTSD emerges. Just from this constant feeling, everything can break. There's so many variables. Literally 1 minute later, and they fixed it, and everything is working again. So it was the most unlucky time window in this. That 15 minutes that the outage happened was exactly in our call. Yeah, why do I share this? I think because I just want to show you that you're not the only one. That's like, it's part of the journey expecting all of this. And it is a roller coaster. And the most important thing is to be resilient with all the shit that life throws at you when you want to build your own business. And just take it with a bit of humor and work around it. Always have this solving things and making the best out of it mindset, then you can get very far. And that's also then how you can do it sustainably, because if you get angry about all those small things all the time, it just burns you out very quickly. So that's not an option, and it's also no fun. So be chill, take it with some humor, and be aware that yes, we're also experiencing all those random issues every day, and that's part of the game. So don't let this stop you. You became a front-end engineer. Look at this satisfying design. Alright, it has been a long day. And I'm still in flow mode. Like, I would right now like to continue building, but it's already 9 p.m. on a Sunday. We had a very long day of building. And I think sometimes you just need to drag yourself out of it to ensure that you can just sustain this work intensity over several days. Because I know, hey, if I would now work for 2-3 hours more, I would just be dead tomorrow and then not get shit done tomorrow. I think, like, in general, this work-life balance way of approaching work is not the right way. I think it makes sense to have more intense phases and less intense phases, but in those intense phases, you should still make sure that you treat it as a marathon and not as a day-to-day sprint where you always go to the maximum.
Yeah, basically at the moment we're sprinting, instead of sprinting at 100%, we're sprinting at 80% all day, every day.
Yes.
Yeah. So
to make sure that we can
continue
sprinting
the whole marathon.
Yes, and again, in the big picture, it's a phase. Like right now, it's a very intense working phase, and we know that December, both of us are going to be traveling, will be more chill, and that's fine. And then we can recharge to go full in a sprinting phase in January. I think in the big picture, it makes sense to have those off-balance phases in different directions, but within this phase, you still need to kind of know your human limitations.
Yes, and sleep.
And sleep, most important thing. Sleep. Another day, another hackathon, this time with Google. And we actually have the chance to win a lot of credits. So our two main reasons today to participate or three main reasons are actually A, okay, it's fun. It's a lot of fun to experiment with all the Google models. B, we have the chance for a lot of credits, and we're actually using quite a lot of Google stuff right now. So it makes sense to get free credits. And the third reason, like, we're so hyped about the new Google models, Nano Banana Pro and Veo 3. So we just want to experiment a bit more with that and see how we can integrate those in public. So yeah, let's go. Okay, those are the winning stallions. Look at those stallions.
I may not have that many coders, but the ones I do are stallions. Each one more magnificent than the last.
Everyone is mingling. We are coding.
Yes.
Already made 2 commits.
Good job. Good job. That's the spirit.
Hi everyone, we are building DiCapri U, an AI filmmaker that tells your life story.
And what is the most efficient way to get your life story is from LinkedIn. So we go to dicapri.u and we paste in a LinkedIn profile. Submit, and now what's happening in the background?
So first of all, we go to your LinkedIn profile, we scrape it. Then in the background, we clean the scraped data. And then what happens then?
We forward it to our orchestrating agent. This is the heart of the product. It's powered by Gemini 3. and it takes the information from the LinkedIn and comes up with a script for the video, writes the prompts for all the different shot types we need, for which we then use Nano Banana to create the images, and also writes the prompts for VO3 to bring those images to life. And then we stitch them all together into a trailer that works. And here it is for Bela.
He's architecting the continent's entire founder ecosystem. Some people invest in the future. Bela is building the arena where it happens. Bela, the movie.
All right, epic trailer, one-shotted with our video creation agent.
1 failed, 3 failed, this failed, this failed.
Okay, boss, what's the situation?
The situation is the following. We hustled like crazy people for, I think, 7 hours.
Yeah.
No breaks, basically, just hustle. The one team member that failed us is Google.
Yeah.
Google.
We are at a Google hackathon. We got Google Cloud credits to use their API, and their API just wasn't working. And I mean, we made a lot of API calls with Nano Banana Pro and Google Veo, and so we switched it to FAL, paid the credits out of our own pocket, and now we still have API issues. So it's really not in our hand. Now the content sensitivity filters are triggering all the time. It doesn't make sense. Hackathons never work the way you expect them to work. But so far so good, and let's see if we can still convince them with our killer demo. This is so fucking good.
He's crafting digital.
Goddamn, lag, strong.
We're sitting in a movie theater watching a blockbuster and thinking, damn, how would it be if I were on the screen, if I were the main character? And today is the day where we're actually answering that question. We make it possible for you to be part of a blockbuster movie. And the only information we need is a LinkedIn profile.
Some people like software. 10 composers that we all
I was so surprised how well we worked together and how little coordination was necessary. We were just logged in, everybody knew what to do. We worked through all of it, delivered a product which is now online, and people would pay for it. Like, I would bet my money, if we just put a paywall in it, people would pay for it right away.
As a little starting point, I did a recap post about the hackathon with like a little video from our onstage demo. And somewhere in the text, I also linked the DiCaprio website. And to just see what happens. I didn't expect much. But actually, this is kind of textbook validation of an idea. Because what we did, this is a simple landing page. And now if people enter their LinkedIn, they get to this where we say we broke and we can't give it out for free. And we just wanted to kind of see what is the willingness to pay. So you can sign up here, and there's like a Google form where we ask for people's email and their willingness to pay for what we built in this hackathon. And also, in case people are too lazy to fill that out, we just tracked everyone that entered here their LinkedIn. And from this post, even though like it was more about the hackathon story and we didn't fully like go all in and lead conversion, and I only linked the website somewhere in the middle of the post, we actually got 22 people who entered their LinkedIn and wanted to try it. So that's a pretty good sign. And we also got 7 people to fill out the wait list with responses regarding the willingness to pay that actually seem kind of economical. So that's a pretty good sign. And based on that, we now decided, okay, hey, let's spend another 2-3 hours polishing it, making it scalable, adding a paywall, and see what happens. So that's what we did. I like quickly scrapped together this Stripe payment link. Very, very simple. So we just slightly revamped the landing page, added a bit more information. And then whenever you click one of those call to action buttons, you directly get to the Stripe page where you enter your LinkedIn URL, and we then forward this via webhook to our backend. And then after 10-15 minutes, when the generation is done, you get the result via email. We just finished this, and tomorrow I'm going to publish a proper post about this, and then let's see what happens. And if people are willing to pay for it, I think this is a great example on how to validate startup ideas, ship really fast. We literally built this within a 7-hour hackathon, plus a few hours of polishing it afterwards. And before continuing to put effort into it, we just see what the market signal is and launch very scrappy and very quickly. So I'm curious what's going to happen. Subscribe to not miss the results. I will definitely keep you in the loop on this in the upcoming videos. And we are also definitely going more in the visual direction because I see so much potential here. And both Hai and me have an unfair advantage in that regard because Hai was a photographer for many years. I was a filmmaker, so we also know the industry, we know the craft. I would say we have some kind of a taste. So there's a lot of opportunity, and I think a lot of opportunity as well to combine it with public. A quick feature that we already shipped in that regard is an image functionality. So now in the onboarding, we also ask you to upload images of yourself, which we then use as reference for Nano Banana Pro, which is the first AI image model that doesn't produce slop. And now when you create a post, you don't only get the master post and the text and see the preview, but you can also here click on visuals and directly see suggested visuals with the reasoning on why that visual works. And I built this whole image agent in the background that decides on what is the best type of visual for each post. So that's the first experiment I already shipped in the deployed app, but we're currently playing around with a lot of other stuff as well. But also need to kind of hold myself back to not get overly excited and not lose focus on the core essence of the product we're currently building. And maybe quickly regarding the onboarding flow, you see we revamped the design. That just makes it a lot more fun. And we also went a little bit back on the automation side. I showed the first version of the onboarding flow 2 videos ago. And there it was fully automated. You got dropped into this AI voice agent interview and then directly saw your strategy. But we quickly noticed we don't want to play in this league of fully automated SaaS. There's actually a lot of value in having the human in the loop, especially in the onboarding, because personal branding is a very sensitive topic and people value a little bit of human connection. And we can also be much more nuanced in the onboarding flow. So actually Elon Musk style, we kind of reverted it back. So we actually built this little interface that only I'm seeing when we're in the onboarding call with the client, where we basically rebuild Granola and we can record the call and then that directly feeds the transcript into the automation. So live during the call, we are transcribing what has been said and then use that to create the public persona, the personal brand strategy. And that has been working really well. At least now it's working really well. There was a lot of stuff breaking left and right because there are quite a lot of variables involved in this. But it's been a lot of fun to do these calls in person. Of course, it's a little bit less scalable, but we learn a lot from every call and I think it provides more value for now. And we also need to worry less about making the product so self-explanatory that you really need no guidance at all. So that makes things easier from our side. And yeah, this is the stuff we built. And the next weeks are all about onboarding a few more people, getting user feedback, talking about potential collaborations. I actually have a call with a big VC in 5 minutes that are very interested in public and are thinking about ways to give that out to all their portfolio companies. So that could be another interesting angle. So yeah, many opportunities, many things happening, and I'm hyped to be documenting this journey. Okay, we just had our goodbye dinner and it's kind of sentimental to leave Berlin after a really good time here, really productive time here.
Yeah. It felt like we were hanging out forever, or we knew each other.
It's crazy, yeah. That just once again shows the importance of finding the right environment. When you already go on this really hard journey of trying to build something from nothing, then at least do it at a place where you're surrounded by people with a similar spirit and where you can cheer each other up. And when someone is kind of in a hole, drag each other out. That makes all the difference. And I mean, I've been building alone by myself in Taiwan before for 2 months. And then coming to Berlin, being surrounded by all those people was incredibly energizing. And now with Hai by my side, it's even more fun and even better. Because it's just like not me that has to take all the decisions alone, but just having an eye-level sparrings partner helps me stay sane, challenges me to make better decisions together. So
yeah, I agree. Definitely agree. was a very fun time until now, and very good discussions. We had very good discussions, where I felt like 1 + 1 is more than 2. I think we got a lot done in that month and got a lot more clarity on like the way forward. Tested a few things out, and got a lot of feedback.
Yes, having all those testers just doing things that don't scale clarifies a lot, but to be honest, we're still not that clear. So that's part of the journey. I think I really want to emphasize this. When you're building something and you feel lost and like don't know where you're really heading and what's happening, like we feel the same. Like, of course, we have many ideas, and right now we're just steaming in one direction and testing one hypothesis. But we're also not sure if our ideas, our approach right now is the right thing. Like, only time will tell. And it's not easy. And we also have days where we're doubting the current strategy and really think like, maybe we should go for something completely else. That's very normal. The important thing is to just not be too impulsive and switch lanes all the time, but just stick with stuff long enough to really have enough data points to then make the right decision on, are you on the right track right now? Do you need to slightly adjust? Do you need to completely pivot? I think many people make the mistake of switching too early or being demotivated by lack of results too early. That's a very fine line to navigate and definitely not easy. And every one of us, also all the other boys in the sandbox, we are just tapping in the dark and just throwing something out there and see what life throws back at us. It's part of the journey.
Critiquing is easy because critiquing, you only have to use your analytical brain and take a concept that was given to you and pull it apart. To build something or to create something, the act of creation is so hard because you're trying to create something out of nothing. And then you take the critique, they can only tell you what the problem is. They can't really tell you what the solution should be or like what you're supposed to be building. And the act of creation is really, really, really difficult and takes a lot of strength and creativity and grit and just conviction sometimes or blind faith.
But it's also the most fulfilling thing you can do.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely continue doing that, but not in Berlin, somewhere else in the world. And to be honest, this is also quite uncertain for us still. We have a couple of weeks now where each of us are traveling, and then let's see where we will reunite and continue building. It's definitely a very exciting time with many things happening, momentum building up. So I'm really excited to continue sharing this journey here on YouTube, also make videos more regularly. So stay tuned for that. I'm really hyped.
I'm hyped too.
So let's get it. Let's fucking go, guys.
Let's go.
So the honeymoon is over. All of those wonderful things that we got for just being are now sort of just old news. We are like every other startup. Bottom line is the world doesn't really care. What the world cares about is what we produce. We've been a startup for 6 months. We've been spending money like we've been a startup for 6 months. And in some areas, we've really produced a lot. We've got a lot to show for 6 months in some areas. In other areas, we don't have a lot to show for 6 months. So I hope that throughout this retreat, we tend to make sure that our feet are on the ground and we realize that we're going to be judged like every other startup from here on out, and that is by what our product is and how timely we bring it to market.